Hey yo, what's good? Hey, it's me, Soul. Welcome to the video. Today I would like to showcase one of my favorite decks to play with in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Cross Duel closed beta. It's been such a fun experience playing around and testing new things, trying things out, and I'd like to show you what I've got so far. So I decided to make this video now because I just won a ranked game using this deck, and if I'm not mistaken, that ranked me up into Gold 1. You absolutely love to see it. That's beautiful to me. So since we're on the road to Platinum and eventually hitting King of Games, because you know we are the very best like no one ever was, I wanted to showcase this that way, like it's just documented, it's on the record as a fun strategy to use. So real quick before we hop into the next game, I'm just gonna show you the deck list of the deck that we're playing with. It's based around Stardust, right? Stardust is an extremely fun boss monster, and well, I'll just explain it to you. Now, the strategy revolves around using Stardust's master ability to spam out level 3 monsters in a constant stream. So you're using the master ability as well as Stardust's second skill, Karma, which means that if Stardust itself gets destroyed, it also returns back to your hand. Now, because your master skill is giving all of your level 3 monsters Karma as well, you are going to be good on resources because as the duel goes on, you will almost always have the most cards in hand. The final skill which ties this strategy together is Cohesion, which says that every single time you summon a monster, this monster gains 200 attack. Now, why that's crazy is because of Stardust's master skill, you are always spamming out level 3 monsters. So you put Stardust in defense position on a safe lane, and you just rack up attack points while keeping it in defense position. And when you're ready to strike, you put it in attack position, and you have a massive behemoth on the field. Not to mention, tons of level 2 and 3 monsters have the ability Attack Support, which will boost the attack of all of your monsters when they hit the field. So you're just climbing and climbing in the ranks of power. So what are the pros of this strategy? Well, obviously, you will always have the most cards, which means you always have the most resources at your disposal. That's a very, very good position to be in at any stage in the game. You're whittling your opponents down and you're chipping away at their life points, which is again, very, very good. You're going to be able to maintain a very strong boss monster on the field when you're ready to use it. You'll also always have cards for offense and defense as the need arises. Now, what about the cons? Because there are a few. First of all, you will always have the most cards in hand. So if someone uses a burn spell card that deals damage to the player with the most cards, that is most likely going to be you. Now, that's not that bad, but the second con is more impactful in that because you're using level 2 and 3 monsters primarily, well, you're going to have lower stat lines in general than your opponent's monsters because the level 2 and 3 monsters don't have the best stats in the world. That's not always the case, but usually it is. Another potential con is that to get the most out of this strategy, you want to get Stardust on the field as early as possible, and so your boss monster, your ace, is on the field very early in the game, so it's susceptible to sniping from a Blue Eyes or targeting from another player, and if another player realizes what you're doing, they may decide to focus you. And equipping Stardust master skill turns it into a synchro monster, so you have to have monsters whose levels equal exactly 8 in order to get it on the field. Now, the Karma ability that Stardust has makes it so that if it gets targeted, you can get it back, and there are other things in the deck which we're about to get to that make summoning the monster easier. Now, for consistency, this deck only includes level 2, 3, and 5 monsters. That way I have the highest chance to be able to use my boss monster and its abilities. Now, the level 5 monsters are very important in this strategy. We have Vice Dragon and Stargazer Magician. What makes them so good is that they have the ability Speedy Summon, whereby they can be summoned onto the field without tributing, but you reduce their attack and defense by 1,000. That doesn't really matter because it's a free level 5 monster on the field, meaning that instead of having to use 2 level 3s and 1 level 2, which would take 3 of your cards, you can just use 1 of these cards in a level 3 monster and get Stardust out with only 2 tributes. That means if you open one of these cards in any level 3 monster, Stardust basically has the same summoning requirements as any of the other boss monsters. But if you don't open either of these cards, well then either you hold on to Stardust until you draw into one of them, or you have to make a big sacrifice in order to get Stardust on the field. The size of the sacrifice is circumvented by the size of the recovery that Stardust then gets you, but this helps you to circumvent the actual sacrifice for the most part. I've got 3 level 2 and 3 monsters with the ability Super Speed just to see if I draw into one of them to help me make a mad dash for the card in the middle. It's not the most important thing for the strategy and it's not exactly super consistent, but if we open one of them then we're looking pretty good. In addition, having some level 2s in the deck is helpful in case you brick and don't get one of your level 5s and you still want to get Stardust on the field, or if you'd like to make yourself a Junk Warrior. Junk Warrior Warrior is an amazing late game card for this deck because after all of your plays and all of your strategies are done, what this card does is it comes onto the field, it takes a level 3 and a level 2 monster because it's also a synchro monster, and its ability says that it gains 300 attack and defense for every level 3 or lower monster on your field or in the graveyard, right? So you just get a massive behemoth on the field late game if you need it. You can also use it early game if you'd like, and since it only takes a level 2 and a level 3, it can be your early boss monster in lieu of a Stardust. Now, none of my level 2 and 3 monsters are equipped with skills that boost their own stats. The reason being, they exist to die, right? Like they're not actually supposed to be this massive force on the field. They're supposed to go out, deal a little bit of damage, some chip damage, or just leave a nasty burn in my opponent's mouth, right? And so that's why I'm not focusing on buffing them up. Most of them have the attack support ability to boost up Stardust on the field and to boost up the other monsters around them. A card like Neo Sunfish has the blowback ability, which when it gets destroyed, which it probably is going to be, well, the monster that destroyed it loses tons of attack, so the next low-level monster that walks into it just destroys it easily, or Sunfish can just be summoned back onto the field and destroy it itself on the next turn because, you know, we're infinitely spamming it out. Bear in mind though that with all of these monsters and Stardust itself, when using the Karma ability, once it gets back into your hand, you don't get to use its skills again. Those skills are negated for the rest of the duel effectively. Now for me, the hardest part of deck building in this game is my spell trap ratio. The reason being, well, you don't want to brick yourself, but you also have some great spells at your disposal. The spells that I've chosen are specifically designed to either protect Stardust or help with the Stardust OTK in the late game after Stardust has gained a massive amount of attack. Final attack orders forces everything on the field into attack position, and the great thing about Stardust is because it's going to be so big, most people are going to try and whittle it down by putting their monster in defense position once you get to their life points. Well, Stardust just says no, you activate this trap and boom, you're hitting their life points directly. Enemy Controller does the same thing on a smaller, more targeted scale, but can also be used to protect Stardust early on by, you know, changing a monster to defense position and making it easier for Stardust to survive for longer. Bear in mind that every single turn that Stardust survives is another turn that you can summon more monsters to get more karma on the field. Mask of Brutality is a generic attack boost. It's useful no matter what deck you're running. Compulsory activation device to protect Stardust while it's in defense position. If an opponent's monster tries to walk into it, just boom, bounce them back to the hand and negate their skills. And then last and very essential is Shield Handler. Now, what a lot of people do is once they see you racking up points on your Stardust, instead of trying to walk into you directly, they'll just summon a Blue Eyes and try and snipe you out of the game. This would prevent that from happening, so it's actually very, very useful. So I have to choose only the best, only the most targeted and calculated spells and traps, and this is what I've come to work for me. Now, you might try this and find that something else works better. Different combinations. That's what I love about this game so far, is that it's very unique and versatile in your deck building. The same deck can be built and played a completely different way, and that's great. So those are the cards, that's the strategy. Let's take it into a duel and I can show you how it works. Now, because we just won one, I'm confident enough to go into a ranked match and roll the dice, see how it goes. Now, we have to hope that we don't brick, and we also have to hope that we don't DC, because this is a beta test. Like, you will DC very, very often, and that's to be expected. You just have to report it to Konami, and hopefully when the full game comes out, they don't have as many server issues that cause things like this. All right, so from the looks of it, we've got 2 real people in one bot. I'm here for that action. How did we open? Show me my cards. Okay, so this is not a terrible opening hand. It's definitely not a perfect opening hand. Wait a second, that's not a bot, that's a person. That's a person who's just using the bot image. All right, that's fair enough. Now, we didn't open perfectly, but we opened well enough to be able to do something here. In this duel, I'm going to opt to put my Stardust in the middle lane. The reason being, well, it's going to be the most difficult for the person on the other side of me to get to me. They have to get through both my monsters and any monsters that the opponent is sending through the middle lanes to attack each other. So that's why it's a good shout in my opinion. Let's set up some offense on the right-hand side and begin. Bro, I'm never going to get over how nice these animations look. Like when I first started playing the game and it was lagging a lot more after I had first downloaded it, I couldn't see just how clean and how smooth these renders were. It's actually beautiful. Okay, the opponent across from me just didn't even summon anything to attack me. It looks like me and him are both targeting the guy. Oh my, he summoned Neos! Bro, stop! No! Oh, but he summoned it in with the speedy summon ability, so it's a lot weaker than it would be otherwise. That's a lot of cards he just invested on turn 1. The person on the left, no, that's my right. The person on my right barely invested anything, and that's fair enough. It looks like they're all going to tie in the middle, and the person who's going to win, if nothing else changes, is the Neos, because the two people on the left and right will crash into each other, destroy each other, and then Neos just cleans up. Now, does anyone have a spell? Please, I'm really hoping that someone has a spell to prevent Neos from rocking up on my life points. Nope, no spell activated, so Neos is just coming straight for me, and he's got the power card, bro. These guys just sold. These guys just sold, bro. Oh, you hate to see it. You absolutely hate to see it. Now, Neos is going to be destroyed, but that means my Stardust is in a weaker position after this next turn. Now, I'll be honest, I'm a little bit concerned because the Neos player got the power card, but I'm just gonna double down on the left-hand side. They wouldn't, so the person on the left and the person on the right, I know that they don't have battle traps, right? Because they would have used it to win the power card. The Neos player, however, didn't need to do anything in that situation to make sure that he won. So if he has a spell card to boost his attack power, we wouldn't have seen it yet. So he could actually destroy my Stardust here, if he has something in his back pocket. Maybe he conserves his resources. I'm not really sure. He doesn't seem like the conservative type. He is not the conservative type. Bro, he's putting down everything. He's putting down everything, but he did set one trap. Maybe he got something like the Rings of Destruction. Ayo, player on the right didn't say nothing to me. They're not doing anything to stop. Well, to be fair, they're being attacked. They're being attacked by a lot of people right now. You hate to see it. Oh no, bro, I think my game might have crashed, and the board is in a very complex state right now. This is a terrible time for a crash. This is actually awful. Yep, we have to reconnect. We have to reconnect and just hope that it puts us back into the lobby, and we have to hope that it does it quickly enough for us to make something out of this match. But yeah, this is what I mean. It's a beta test, right? So things like this are bound to happen. I think also because my phone is one of the older models, it's just not compatible. So hopefully when this game comes out, it's on Steam just like Duel Links. If not, I might need a new phone. Now, the good thing about DCs in this game, though, is that when you DC, it doesn't load you back in immediately. It will only load you in at the start of the next turn, and the AI will play for you until then. But then, for instance, let's say it took a while for me to log out and then log back in, then that means I miss a whole nother turn, and the AI has to pilot my deck for me in that period. So let's see what it did. This duel has ended, returning to the title screen. What do you mean it's ended? How swiftly did it go, bro? How quickly did the duel, who won? Who won? Did I lose? Did it end because this deck is beautiful. This deck is powerful, my guy. I don't know how or why or when that happened, but we piloted, well, the AI piloted it to victory. And if the AI can win with this deck, anyone can win with it because the AI is dumb. Oh, bro, that's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. Now, I mean, I had a strategy that I thought would work. Maybe the AI actually did what I was hoping to do. And I mean, kudos to you, I suppose. We take those. We take those.